Shaun Haney here with RealAgriculture.com and RealAg Radio, Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM, joined by my good friend. It is Chip Flory, host of AgriTalk. Hey, Chip, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Shaun. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Okay, so Chip, what's your read right now on these markets? Farmers feel like, I don't know if it's quicksand, but it at least feels like a little bit of cracked ice here on the outlook.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just the hesitancy of the markets to kind of break away and move to the upside on some when we've gotten some good news. And I'm looking at the corn market in particular. We've had a nice run of export demand. We had an announcement back on the 6th of another sale, and we're really not getting much of a reaction out of the market at that time. Now, the other thing that is going on is we got the prospective plantings report that was a bit negative for corn, but the grain stocks report was a positive for corn, so that kind of balanced out. Now the question becomes, can we get all of the 92 million acres planted? And you know, in some areas, we're at the insurance go date where you can go ahead and get your crop planted, and if it fails, the crop insurance will help to cover the replant. But at the same time, I got a note from a buddy up in South Dakota. He's right on the North Dakota line. He sent me a picture of him and his son and a bunch of walleye that they caught through the ice. They're still ice fishing in South Dakota. They should be getting the spring wheat crop planted. They should be getting prep work done to get corn planted, and they're still ice fishing. It blows me away. So there's some anxiety over that 92 million acre number in corn too. That's going to prevent the selling in old and new crop. But it's not a big enough issue or concern at this point to push that D's contract back up to that 590 range.
What does history tell us when the market doesn't accept good news like we think it should?
Well, number one, that's not bullish when the market refuses to go up on friendly news. I don't want to take it as a sell signal, but it may be telling us that the market is trying to hit the reset button and figure out where it's going to go from here. And even though we are anticipating some planting delays up in the Northwest production areas, we've got to take a look at what's going on in the Eastern Corn Belt, in Iowa, in Illinois, in Nebraska. There's going to be some progress this week, I think. There's going to be enough progress on enough acres early enough in the season that it's going to feel like this crop is getting planted on a timely basis. And you know what? The first 85 million acres might get planted on a timely basis, but we've got a lot of acres that are going to be late this year, and we need to make an adjustment for that at some point.
Yeah, you talk about the anxiety around the 92 predicted planting of corn. Mm-hmm. What number of actual planted corn is sort of that line where we're like, ooh, like this sort of the things change, right? Yeah. Because we have a production number that we expect based on trend yield. Like, what is that number for planted acres?
Well, I'll call the trend line yield on corn is 181.5, so just call it 180. Every million acres that doesn't get planted potentially represents 180 million bushels of corn. So as we're looking at carryover and stocks to use estimates for the 2023-24 marketing year, if we take away 180 million, 360 million, 540 million, it adds up very quickly if we don't get all 92 million acres planted. And I think, just the way things are setting up right now, if we can get to 90 million planted on corn, I think that's kind of I don't know if that's the expectation of the market, but there's 2 million acres easily that are at risk of losing.
Oh yeah.
So you take 360 million bushels out of the supply, and we're not going to be moving carryover to the upside much at all in 23-24 marketing year. So I would say that that's kind of the number, 90 million. We need to get at least that much planted.
Yeah, and as if as corn acres are switched out, they obviously go into soybeans. Demand, is that market able to take in that extra volume? Is demand strong from a domestic crush standpoint and obviously the export market?
Yes, but I'm not convinced that it's going to go to beans.
Okay.
It may go straight to prevent plant because the numbers work. Might even generate a bit more revenue than what you might expect off of soybeans, planting them late. So there may be a, don't consider soybeans, go straight to prevent plant move on some of those acres this year. I like to think that growers, if they get a chance to grow a crop, they're going to produce a crop, even if it's their second choice or even a third choice. But I don't know if we can make that assumption. Now, if it does go to soybeans, every million acres up from that 87.5 represents about 50 million bushels of beans. Right now, we get the supply and demand report this morning and an adjusted carryover estimate for the 2022-23 marketing year. It's expected to be about 200 million bushels. But if we're at 200 million bushels on carry-in, we're looking at a situation for the 23-24 marketing year where maybe a 220, a 230, something like that. But it's not the 280 or 300 million bushels that USDA had us thinking about back in February from the Outlook conference. It's going to be 250 or less when we get an update next month on the new crop marketing. There's not a lot of wiggle room on that either. And if you do get enough bean acres, push 2 million over, something like that to beans, boy, you start talking about getting that carryover up into that 300 million bushel range again. If we print a 300 million bushel carryover expectation for 23-24, that's a market that'll go looking for some extra demand and try to get some of the export share back. And we've got the crush facilities coming on. There's another crush plant that is actually ahead of schedule up in Northwest Iowa, the Platinum plant. Just saw a press release on it this morning. They're going to be taking beans by spring of 24. That wasn't expected to happen until the fall of 24. So that's going to be some additional old crop demand that will come in. They're going to crush, what was it, 110,000 bushels of beans a day? It's wow. A big number. 35 million bushels in the year. So yeah,
who builds anything ahead of schedule nowadays? This is
I know.
There's the anomaly.
Yeah, exactly.
How'd they get the parts? Who's in charge of construction procurement there? That person should be president.